Which should you be using, free weights or machines? Let's chat about it.
Don't you want to look good naked?
The first thing we need to think about is, what is the main goal? So what are you training for? Is it hypertrophy specific? Are you trying to build muscle? Is it sports specific? Are you doing, powerlifting or Olympic lifting? Is it, because you're trying to train more coordination and stability? It's all going to come down to, first, what's the main goal? Because when we're talking about choosing free weights or machines or barbells or dumbbells or cables or whatever it is, we always need to think, okay, what is my specific goal? Why am I doing this? And then we can choose the machine or the free weight or whatever it is based off of that. So when we're trying to change our body composition and more specifically build muscle, we need to pay attention to the exercises that we're choosing and, making sure that we are getting close to failure on those movements and paying attention to what is actually failing first. So when I say that, we have two types of failure: task failure and muscular failure. So task failure is important to pay attention to because that is when you're going to fail the movement because maybe your coordination breaks down, maybe your cardiovascular system is the limiting factor, or maybe secondary muscles are taking over before the target muscle is the one that gets the most stimulus. The reason for this, the reason we want to pay attention to this is because if our main goal is to build as much muscle as possible, we actually want the muscle to fail first. So we want the target muscle tissue to be the thing that fails first before other things start to take over. And so this is important when we're talking about free weights versus machines, or free weights versus using chest supported or maybe more external stability. Because if you are reaching task failure first on a movement before muscular failure, that means that other things are actually starting to take over before the actual muscle tissue is the one that gets the most stimulus. So let's take a barbell bent over row versus a machine row or a cable row, for example. With that barbell bent over row, that is going to be more of a free weight movement. And with that movement, you're probably more likely to hit task failure before muscular failure because it's one of those movements that requires a lot of internal stability from both your core muscles and your lower back. So those are the things that are probably going to give out first before actually the muscles that you're trying to train, which are typically your upper back muscles, your rear delts, your rhomboids, things like that. So that would be in a barbell bent over row. You would actually probably hit task failure before muscular failure versus a cable row or a machine row where you have more stability there, especially if you have a chest support. I love chest supported cable rows and chest supported dumbbell rows. Any type of chest supported row I love, because then you're actually taking out that requirement for internal stability and you're adding more external stability to that. So within that movement, you're probably going to be more likely to fail with the muscle versus the task. So just some things to think about, when you're choosing movements, whether it's free weights versus machines or cables, you just want to make sure that you're choosing the right movement to get the job done. Don't think about, how much work can I do, but think about how much work is necessary to target the muscle tissue that is required to grow and get the most stimulus out of that. So it's not that one is better than the other when it comes to free weights versus machines. It's just really, again, thinking about what the main goal is and making sure that you're choosing movements that work for that goal.